It's a face mask. A lady made it for me. Isn't it pretty? My name is Alexis K. Tyler. This is a new segment of AKT Celebrity Reads. I'm your host, Alexis K. Tyler. We're going to get into some things that Nipsey gave to me. I'm not finished with it yet. It's really deep and complex. He knows more about these things than I do. So most of the time he gives me something, I have to go read it. Let me tell you what's really weird. I'm just going to say it anyway, even though I don't quite understand it, because I'm seeing fire trucks on the ground. I'm seeing water hoses. I'm seeing airplanes in the sky and having to come down like smoke plumes, smoke stacks shooting all the way up in the sky, but also smoke on the ground, explosions on the ground, not just in California, but other places around the United States and other places where there's economic upheaval, social upheaval, banking and financing upheaval and unrest. And he is also showing me problems with the dollar in the US. This might take place under Biden, where there's going to be another form of currency trying to destroy the dollar. Like I was trying to tell you a couple of readings back when Nipsey showed me about money and the structure of money and how it ties into demonic curses and bloodline curses. Yes, I think, I was mentioning that too with Jamal Rashad, and how it goes into contracts and bloodletting of the money of a bloodline by using the curse of the dollar and the magic code, starting with George Washington when he took over and created the Masonic lodges and the Illuminati structure of the United States of America, because they were saying, well, it's in the U.S. Congress. There was a Black man, John Henson, that was one of the presidents of the United States. But they don't teach you that in school. They don't talk about that in school. Yeah, hi, everybody. I'm trying to hold the phone. I'm talking, moving my hand. I'm sorry. I see it shaking. I was looking away. I don't like to really look at. Thank you, everybody, for putting my cash up. Hit my cash app, bitch, because it's lunchtime. And you see, I've been cooking lunch. I got all these niggas over here. I've been chilling, playing cards, gambling, drinking beer, laughing and talking, sharing their stories. And I basically been they chef, they housekeeper and shit. Thank you all so much for let me say this right quick. Thank you all so much for loving me and supporting me and letting me know you like the ancestor altar drip meals. And I've been eating with them too. Oh, I've been enjoying it. It's been so, so, so good. I love to cook, and people were asking me, and I love it when people like what I cook and how it looks and eat it. Love to eat it, love to taste it. I taste it and I enjoy every moment of it. And like I was saying earlier, I used to always cook when my son was little. I can't wait till he gets back home because I know he eats his own food, his own style, his own taste. Spent the night at other women's house, girlfriends' houses, other friends' houses, because he had a lot of friends when he was growing up in high school that were some of them were Nigerian, a lot of them were Creole, some were Haitian, and he would be at their mama house and loving their mama's Creole food. I didn't know how to cook the New Orleans cuisine back then. And so I'm learning so much from Nipsey. And a lady asked me, one of my sweet babies in there that always comments and always supports me. She was like, have you done catering before? Have you thought about it? I was like, I've never done catering. I've never cooked food like that. I've never made plates like that. And people think I'm crazy, but I'm lying. I have not. I basically let the person tell me that I'm making the altar for what they want on it, the colors, the flowers, the drinks. Nipsey told me how to create his altar. He wanted his altar blue and gold. And then some people started letting me know those are Crip colors. Those are some of his favorite colors, blue and gold and red and gold. And I basically create the menu from him, what he tells me he wants. And then the other people in here, I'm like, okay, do we all have a consensus here? Do we all agree? Does everybody want cornbread, biscuits, macaroni and cheese, gravy, steaks? What? And usually whoever's in here, they have the same appetite that we do. One thing I don't do that I don't have in my house, I'm sorry. Or even when I start cooking and cook somewhere else, I don't do chitlins. I don't do pig feet. So I'm sorry. The people that come here usually don't have a pork menu. I'm not saying I won't cook some of it, but I hate chitlins. I've hated them since I was a little girl. The smell is disgusting. I know what they are, intestines, and I would never try them. I don't buy them. They're not in my freezer, nowhere. Pig feet, anything like that. Sorry, but I haven't had anybody ask me for it. And the couple people that asked me for it, I'm like, you got to get that somewhere else. Okay. Back to what I was saying about the dollar. Nipsey was showing me the different structures of the dollar, the whole training and the magic, magnetism, mesmerism, and even repelling entities and energies on that dollar. So, and then, excuse me, I just drank my juice, so I have a little gas. I'm sorry, burping. Certain families, secret societies, institution, so banking and finance, mortgages, stock, bonds, stock market, all the investment things we should know that they keep from the masses, and that is the form of repelling you like a curse. But those secret societies and institutions, and it's never repelled from them because they control the stock market, they control the interest rate, they control the whole structure of everything dealing with religion, politics, laws, money, all around the world. You don't. And they have heavy secret occult knowledge that they stole from you. It come from Egypt, even the Egyptian gods, and where you see things, and they give you one form of science, and they know the higher sciences. You know, the more Nipsey makes this aware to me, and the more I realize this, and everything is based on a number system in gematria, the Kabbalah code, the Jewish codes, which come from African people. But they don't want to tell you that, and they stole that science. The more I realize that a lot of the foundations of even our secret societies and families were for the higher royals were based on incest and killing the future king, killing the future queen, killing the future prince, princess, and taking over a throne, or inbreeding into it, through inbreeding and through getting someone pregnant and marrying into it, and then off with their heads, destroying them. This is something that African people, Black people also do, along with occult sciences, and that is tied into your dollar bill. And they're going to ship that dollar bill because Biden's also working on that administration, but it might be him is the main one they're using, or he's somebody's puppet, to create like a federal currency that is not paper, trying to get rid of the paper. Now, this is another weird thing Nipsey was telling me, and I'm just going to have to dig deeper on. I'm going to come back later. I'll tell you what I can, the little I know. For some reason, he's telling me a lot of the California fires, and I think he mentioned San Bernardino. Is that where one of the big fires, San Bernardino, and how it's moving into other states in California, and then other states outside of California, as long with the water flooding and the storm. Nipsey showed me, I'm looking at NASA, the satellites where they are visualizing and picturing this, and even have the technology to start a fire. There are fires and earthquakes and floods going on in space as well, and different planets, different constellations, and they have their space stations and houses up there. People are living there. They're visiting there. They have retreats there, as well as the nanobots and the transhumans, where they look like humans, but really not, synthetic humanoid beings, where they just have a sleeve in the back of the brain. Not a real human, just looks like one with a sleeve, upload of somebody's memories, or even trying to upload the soul, and they have them down here as well. He showed me, basically, that would go back to the readings I did 2 years ago, Nipsey, NASA, Navy, and tied to California, and the military in California, and the Navy in California, and the docking, the ships in the docking area, where they bring goods and services in, hold them, exploit them, sell them, use them, to create shortages and disadvantages with the trucking system, with the farms, the animals, and all the products, to create the shortage and then eliminate the paper dollar. Because see, he showed me them looking at the storms, tracking them, and you can actually create them. There are different lasers or light beams you can shoot down to create a fire without a match. But he told me, this is going to sound crazy, they have people starting the fires in certain areas of California because they want to wipe out certain trees, certain crops, certain houses or people in houses to take over the land or to rebuild and then build something else there. There are different corporate sponsors of this, like corporate arson. And even in the water areas, he's saying underground, they are drilling and digging underground, like offshore drilling for oil and different gas. So there are pipelines in California in the ocean. He said, and this is going to cause problems with the Atlantic and Pacific Ocean and the blue jet stream, where the line meets the Atlantic and the Pacific. There's a blue jet stream that's causing underground volcanoes, underground storms. And he said, for some reason, it ties into Miami. It ties into Florida, where there's some type of flooding and water storms, water catastrophes. Remember, before this year started, I told you that NIPSEY said, and Dr. Sebi came in and say that this is the year of the water tiger. It's also the Chinese year of the tiger. He said water tiger, airborne and waterborne diseases coming up out of the water and under the water, and all types of storms connected to water and wind. And it was going to be really bad. And the monkeys have been talking to me since 2018 when I did the Joe Jackson reading, and I saw Ebola and resurfacing and other viruses. With this new virus that you see, that I told you is going to be a new virus coming out, dealing with gay and bisexual men, and you women need to watch who you sleep with. This monkey virus, also considered a sexually transmitted virus. You have to be very careful with this and how you're contracting it because of the other viruses that I cannot mention that begin with C. What this monkey is telling me and what NIPSEY's telling me, that's a combination of several viruses that already cause death. And cancer is one of them. These people are going to be coming down with cancer after they come down with these different viruses. You know, one begins with a H and then in the middle letter and then a V. We know what that one is about HIV. I basically say that. That's not wrong. I don't get in trouble. HIV. With that one, that's a combination that's inside of, as well as the monkey. Viruses getting from monkey, tissues from monkey, human embryo from monkey, tied with the monkey, mad cow. One of those, you'll see some of these combinations where they're already here. I just can't, say what's already been going on the past couple of years, what people have been sick with. You will see it with this new strain of this monkeypox, as well as the other one with the C that we've been dealing with. Everybody was wearing their mask. That one also has the other virus in it, and the HIV is a combination of it, and cancer. Everybody knows, or people that study this, HIV is a form of cancer. And tied with this monkeypox thing, because I've seen the first woman, it's a Black woman in Atlanta. It happened the day I said it, I think about a week ago, when I saw in Jamal's reading, the ex that got him arrested was going to be exposed to this with a man and a gangbanger, a high-ranking gangbanger, either a Crip or a Blood, that she was doing sex trafficking and drug sales with, along with her daughter. This was going to come up in that same day, and there had not been any women diagnosed with it. And after a few hours after I said that, a Black woman came up diagnosed in Atlanta, and the couple of people I've seen it, it's on their mouth, and they say it's on their butt. Yeah, it's on her face, but it's on the mouth, maybe in the mouth and on the butt, which means that's probably, I don't know, she probably sucked some bad dick. because it's in her mouth and around her mouth, and it looks very disgusting. And she said it's very painful. I saw a white man on the news say it was around his anal rectal and his mouth. So we know what you've been doing to get it. And it's spreading rapidly through sex. And also picked up San Francisco Bridge and San Francisco, California. I don't know, that bridge has been coming to me for a few months now, and it reminds me of the era of Rock Hudson. Now, for you all that were alive around that time, I think it was the 80s, late 80s, Rock Hudson was a really handsome and charming actor who was also secretly gay and did a lot of Hollywood orgies with young, good-looking men, came down with HIV, and he was, I think, with Linda, I forgot her last name. She was on Dynasty. Dynasty was hot back then. He kissed her, and it sent her into a panic. And everybody that had kissed him and women that had kissed him, because he was pretending to like women, had to go immediately get HIV tests, but they were negative. And he came down with it during that period, and there was no cure at the time. I think Liberace, very flamboyant, very charismatic man that was a pianist. I mean, incredibly talented man, but you could kind of tell he was gay, though. He was flaming all over the place and very flamboyant, but sharp, and extremely sharp and talented with that piano. He came down with it. I think one of his lovers sued him. I think he had to pay him palimony. That was in California. It's a Trojan horse program that was loose during that period, where doctors were pretending or saying they were shooting them up with some type of vaccine, but it was really HIV. That's what they were saying that was back in the 80s. When it was an epidemic. I'm not sure if it was in San Francisco. I have to go look it up. But now I'm getting, Nipsey's telling me it's there now. There's another Trojan horse program in San Francisco, and I see the horse riding on the San Francisco Bridge. Now, you know what's come to my mind, and I'm not going to get into it deeply. I saw Beyonce's new picture. She's on a horse. I think in one of them, she's wearing black and red, the same way that Nipsey baby mama with the dimples actually was on a horse, a white horse of death, and made him wear white, and she wore white, which represents death, not peace and prosperity. And then he gets murdered. And then I see this. So I'm going to watch what happens. Like I'm watching what happens after the Georgia Guidestones. You see small monkeypox. I don't know why I said smallpox, if that's around. Monkeypox come to the ATL after the Georgia Guidestones are deliberately squashed to set off the clock. And I told you it was tied to the Big Ben clock, the major famous clock in London, Big Ben. Or in England, the Big Ben clock. London bridges falling down, because that Georgia Guidestone was lined up with astrology, astronomy, and numerology. And the way the light moved through different parts of it, it would also keep up with time and the movement and positioning of the sun. And right now, I understand why it's coming, because we're entering the Lion's Gate August 8th, 2022. So you all need to set your altar and get ready for that ritual where we're dealing with Orion, Sirius, and Osiris. And I've been telling the whole time, Nipsey has been calling himself Osiris. And when he was physically in a body, he would call him and the actress baby mama Isis and Osiris. But if she was really Isis and the queen and the mother of civilization, she would have saved Osiris, which is Nipsey, because he was a god and raising in the god science, very brainy, very gifted, a child prodigy, a tech geek. And you let that man be murdered, and you're supposed to be his Isis, and he's Osiris. It's so fucking disgusting. Just disgusting what happened to this man and what she helped put in motion to do to this man. And he still knows who he is, and he's in the underworld with Osiris. Osiris also is one of the gods of the physically dead in the underworld. And this is happening right now. For some reason, he said and said there's going to be a big outbreak, a big plague tied to the San Francisco Bridge. Am I saying this correctly? I can't see you all's words right now. I just see my mask right there saying drip. There's a San Francisco Bridge, right? Or the bridge is named San Francisco Bridge. And in San Francisco, he's saying Sodom and Gomorrah, and he's actually showing me a whole bunch of gay men having sex in these orgies, getting drunk and high and partying, having a good time. And I see some of them pulling their condom off and having sex with young boys, like children. Unprotected sex. Some of it's some protected, some not. Don't ask, don't tell. Blindfolded parties. Mansion parties, you're going from room to room, glory holes, bathrooms. You men are traveling, and they travel to Atlanta too, but they travel to different parts of California and LA, and they have these parties where you go in these different rooms and you see these different men and women, and you participate if you want to, or they have parties where you in the room or rooms where you turn all the lights off so you can feel and see and have sex with people, but you can't see who they are or knowing if they have a disease or not. And they don't ask. They don't want to know what the person looks like. They don't want to know the race of the person. They don't want to know if the person has a disease. They have sex with them in the dark. You go to another room. It might be people just getting gang banged, or you just laying there and you can't see the person behind you. And they're basically just having sex with you until they get tired, just wearing you out, pounding you with no condom, and then they leave and you don't see their face. This is what also a gay man told me. This is in Atlanta too. This is in all the states. And then one lady told me in Chicago, a lot of the young gangbangers are getting arrested. This is somebody in law enforcement that's saying this. Said they in the holding cell. Before they even get out of holding cell and get assigned to a cell, get booked in, they in there fucking. Young black men, teenagers in there fucking and sucking dick in the goddamn holding cell up in Chicago. I hate to see what the pandemic is going to be and what type of disease is going to break out in these jails as well as on the street and with all these sex orgies, because people are encouraging the sex orgies, gay, straight, and bisexual, deliberately spreading these diseases. It's going to be a lot of death and upheaval and fighting and riots in these prisons, rapes and murders in these prisons, because they have a short supply of staff. At least here in Atlanta, they got rats. I mean, the rats is running the prison. Rats that goddamn calling home on the cell phone, using niggas' cell phones and shit. Rats in there goddamn got commissary on their goddamn book, goddamn eating ho-hos and wham-wham and goddamn cheese, Danish, and drinking liquor in there and goddamn a Coca-Cola with a honey bun and shit. They can't even control the rats, goddamn it, down here in the goddamn federal prison, goddamn it, over there in Confederate. Had the door open, wide open, goddamn it, the rat. They try to send cats in there to goddamn double team the rats whooping the cat's ass, and then the cat saying fuck it, they won't even go in the goddamn federal prison, goddamn it. Over here, I think that's Confederate up here in goddamn Atlanta. They run this shit with the niggas. Rats so goddamn big over there and shit. They walking around there, the niggas passing messages. They ain't even got to throw them kites no more, goddamn it. The rats is goddamn picking the message up in one cell and running to the other and going on different flows, going up through the holes and running through the goddamn pipes and the water line and shit. That's what the fuck, goddamn it, going on. Damn, do you love me? Yes or no? Passing love letters to niggas where they in there sucking dick, selling goddamn dope in there. The rats that they taping that on the rat leg or on the rat back and shit. Rats carrying packages out the goddamn federal prison, running across the street over there to the projects and shit, and picking up some goddamn church's chicken on the way back, or some of that goddamn love that chicken from Popeye. Ow! The rats is doing this shit, man. Get shit off the goddamn chain. Then spreading the diseases on top of it, because niggas fucking niggas. And a lot of times, I mean, they have no condoms in there. There's no rule to give out inmates condoms. So they're passing this or making some type of homemade condom. One of the women told me they have sex toys in there for women to shape it like a dick. to fuck a bitch in the ass if you a woman and want to fuck another bitch. All that. I mean, this shit is wild, and they don't have a lot of staff. A lot of them are leaving or don't want to go in these jails. So these motherfuckers policing they stuff got drones at a certain time, dropping a goddamn cell phone down off the goddamn drone, bringing reefers, piled the goddamn contraband in the goddamn jail. The officers, policers bringing it in now, and then the police is making arrangements certain days and time for the nigga to fly a drone over there and drop the dope down, drop the cell phone, the commissary and shit. I mean, the prisoners is policing the goddamn prison. They might well get him a goddamn paycheck. This is the kind of wild shit that's been goddamn it going on. And you have very powerful mob groups and organizations that are running this shit. So y'all, I understand you get lonely. I understand you want a sex partner. I understand you want to fuck, want to suck some dick and all to get your ass, your booty aid. I understand all that. But y'all need to start getting these people tested and getting more security around what you're doing and who you're trusting, because these people are secretly behind your back having really sick fetishes where it's like they're on a suicide mission where they're having sex with people without getting them tested and without using protection and not getting themselves tested and then coming back home to you. So he showed me that going on in parts of California. And I don't know, he's saying again back to San Bernardino and NASA. This is tied to real estate and land. I know they're trying to protect the area with the, I think it's sequoia trees. I'm not sure if those are damaged, but he takes me to the dirt. I have to study the structure of that before I speak more on it. He said, but some forms of soil are destroyed depending on how bad it's scorched or burned up and the degrees of the fire. He said, but there are corporate contracts on it. I see the paperwork on it and blueprints, as well as problems affecting electrical company and services and rolling blackouts and how that affects a lot of people, and the water service, the sewage service, as well as the flooding and the water storms. NIPSEY is saying this stuff is being, some of, I'm not saying all of it. He said, but in certain areas they target, they want land, they see houses or subdivision they want. He said they will actually have somebody, they'll pay somebody to go in and start arson, and you don't know. And he said, so that these properties also, they want to dig for oil and gold. He said people don't realize there are a lot of properties, a lot of land that still has gold underneath, or they've charted through satellite, and even can see these things through NASA. They know areas that still have a lot of gold and oil under there and natural gas. And it's also tied to pipelines that exist and areas surrounding it, or trying to create new ones. He said, and there are pipelines underground in California in the ocean. With the drilling, he said, but the drilling has created a danger and it's not safe. I'm seeing these metal wire rods that you lay down for the foundation of construction of something, and he's like to build property and land. He's even showing me things built under the ocean, buildings and tunnels built underneath the ocean where you can live down there and walk around and move around down there that a lot of people don't know exist with this offshore drilling. But he also showed me there's a place they're drilling or anchoring down metal rods that is closer to shore. I just have to look it up because I don't know all the states in California. But he definitely mentioned San Bernardino, and I have to look at the other areas where the fire is blazing and moving into other states. He's saying there's secret corporate agreements that we don't know about it with state and federal and private building corporations, like major construction companies that want that land, that have been bidding on it, won bids on it, and got government grants and interest-free loans and grants that the public doesn't know about, and the people don't want to give up the land, or if they don't have jurisdiction over that area. It's ways like it's different mob ties associated with construction in every state, especially major multi-million-dollar construction. He's just saying also this is tied to somebody with casino in Vegas. Whatever problems going on in Vegas, he said, with the storms and fire and water. and Arizona. He mentioned these things. He said these are also tied to secretly different corporations that tied to land, trees, water, oil, gold, and yeah, and the oil in the water, as he's saying, and more storms, and the problems tied to Atlantic and Pacific. What is he trying? Something else. I have to sit with this more to really get the depth, because he's really smart, really brainy, and the different depths and dimensions of it. Some of it is not as deep because it's closer to the land, but he goes way out into the ocean in California. I don't know what state that would be in California, dealing with the offshore drilling. He said it's destroying the ecosystem. He said bad leaks are under there with oil, killing the fish and contaminating the food supply that comes out of the ocean. He said it's also contaminated the water that you drink and you use for washing clothes, basically living. And he said, you don't know, even he ties to the marathon. I'm wondering who are all the owners and the players in the marathon and the neighborhood NIP Foundation, because he said that is a front for organized crime. And basically, I mean, we've gone over this 3 years ago. I'm so glad people are bringing this back up again and uploading the videos to confirm what I've said. Nipsey told me everybody he had a contract with, his management and the record labels he had a contract with, and supposed to be helping him with his businesses, are still getting checks off them, and that checks off of him and siphoning his money out and tied to that marathon property. I wonder who are all, and then I've told you even 3 years ago, he told me about the Asian mob as well as the Russian and the Mexican. And then when you deal with the music industry, you also deal with two mobs, the Jewish and Italian, and other ones that are mixed and mingled into it. That property, somebody's discussing that property, and all of the members he's telling me about, you might see them on the public dealing with that. Here he goes with that congressman again, that Marquise guy with that bald head over in there. He's being paid under the table. He's no good, a dirty nigga politician up there in California. And he was on the video with David Gross and Nipsey. That Marquise, that I don't know if he's a congressman, but he's over that district over there. He ain't no damn good. Along with David Gross, and I've done old readings on David Gross and all these people that were corrupt. He's telling me real estate is the land, and I know he doesn't own all of that land, of the owners of that property. Because I know the Asians liked him and sold that store to him. They own it too, and other people you don't see and you can't see. And David Gross put his hand in there, and DJ Khaled, Jay-Z, T.I., P. Diddy. These people, baby mama with the dimples, they giving her kickbacks under the table too. And just like this lady confirmed that Jay-Z and Beyonce's organization gets checks from Nipsey. And isn't that something? Because the two women that he said he would like to fuck, Beyonce and the actress baby mother with the dimples, them two getting checks off of him, eating off of him after his death, siphoning off of him, blood and vampiring off of. You see that? That whole circle together under the actresses Afua, Queen Afua, his baby mother with the dimples are under her. All that clique is all together. They all know each other. Basically, bloodlet people, vampire people. That's why I want people to leave this alone and stop talking about it, because they've always done shit like this. But this is the first time we've really paid close attention and we've started to learn. And then people after Nipsey, the same thing has been done. We are watching them and learning. So he's telling me it might be different owners or several owners, he's saying, to the actual real estate property you see on top of the land, and then ownership below the land, down into the ground, into infinity, and then above the land with the airspace above it. So I'm wondering who owns those three levels of real estate. The real estate you see, the real estate below the ground, and the airspace. Who's traveling in the airspace, and how far up do you get to a certain point where they're renting and leasing out airspace? For some reason, Nikki told me they're going to be renting and leasing out The space that you see on the ground with the marathon, I don't know if they're going to tear that down or reconstruct it and add to it. That space is rented and owned by different people and going to be leased to different people beneath the ground. That's co-owned and shared and rented and will be leased, and people will be able to dig down to see what they want to see what's under there. And then he said blocks and units and divisions of airspace rented and leased out and not completely owned by his brother and just the marathon. They are already consolidating this and then reselling it, repackaging it, chopping it up, and shipping it around where you don't know who all the owners are. You can't see all of the owners because they already are numbered. I see the blueprint. They're already doors to whatever they're going to build. See, that goes back to what I said then, the metaphysics of money and the structure of money and the curses on it. Particular spirits already own the doors and already the units because of that, the spell they cast on Nipsey, and the spells when they tricked him under those contracts or forged it off. I don't know if sometimes he was high, slightly tipsy and drug and trusting his baby mom with the dimples for her to have contracts to all this man's soul shit, soul ties, sex ties. Went and tricked that man and robbed that man, signed all that stuff, and he trusted her at the beginning. I can't believe he couldn't see this shit, but then again, he was warned to avoid this, but he saw it in the end. That's why he wasn't with her when he physically died. They weren't living together. He was totally cut off, or he wasn't in love with her no more. He knew she never loved him. She played on him and used him. That's how she got in there, through her powerful friends. That's how she got her Puma clothesline, through Jay. Because he gave him, he's over the Puma lines, and he gave it to Nipsey, and then he's giving them to her. She's getting all her kick. This shit is so sick, make me want to vomit. Yeah, they want to get you to shut up and say, I'm the troublemaker. I keep up shit. I'm obsessed. They tired of hearing about it. Well, if you're tired of hearing about it, stop coming the fuck over here. Because I don't live for y'all. I don't please y'all. The only people I'm doing this for is the people that fuck with me and love me and ride for Nip and fuck with him and donate for me to do these shows. If you ain't one of them, then you don't need to be the fuck over here no way. Because this shit was wrong that was done to this man. It's still wrong what was done to this man. And he still ain't got no justice. And they still raping him and robbing him and don't want us to see it. And I thank God, out of all the things I have said and all the hell I've gone through, other people see it too. And other people are investigating this and reading this and confirming my readings that I have done faithfully for this man since the day he got shot. And it was announced on the news March 31st, 2019. And did you also know March 31st, was it what, 2007, 2008, ATL, the movie with T.I. and his baby mama was released? See, they do these things by the numbers. It's always murder by the numbers. So I knew it tied in because she want to tie herself into the ritual and own and claim this man's soul along with T.I. All these motherfuckers is tied up in that shit. They always do murder by the numbers shit. But we never caught it before now. We always felt sorry for their girlfriend or their boyfriend, not knowing if you don't sign oaths and you live in LA or you inside the industry and you married to somebody in that industry, you already with that shit. You already playing that murder by the numbers games and you under that oath. And when they come to you and tell this time, or that could be why you start fucking them, because that's why you fucked them anyway. That shit was, they put your ass on the nigga from the beginning, goddammit. Or whatever the race of the person is, because it ain't just black people that they do this to. Blood in and blood out. Just like you look back, Otis Redding, Richie Valens, I think he was a Mexican singer, La Bamba, the movie La Bamba. And you look at that and you think all these people just mysteriously, all of a sudden, accidentally crashed in a goddamn plane, or got beat up somewhere, or shot up somewhere. And no, that's the demons on the dollar and the blood contract you signed that you didn't know you was fucking signing. They could have brought you in just for that shit because they know you weren't playing that shit like they know Nipsey didn't play that shit. And my father, Jackie Wilson, didn't play that. You know, it's really strange the other day when this, it's funny how things happen. The reader who was attacking me and calling me names and lying on me said that my father was not my father. And I didn't respond. I'm not going to respond to the shit. But what the spirits are responding, because a lady called me yesterday. We hadn't talked in a few months. She said, guess what? I met an 80-year-old woman in my family that used to party with your father in New York and in Atlanta and sit on his lap. with her and a couple of other women, and she saw your picture, and I'm going to send her you singing to your father, and she wants to speak to you. She's so excited and amazed because she was very close to your father, her and several women. And I was like, no, that's perfect timing when this reader just said that that was not my father. It's amazing. I said I was a liar and fake, and then this weekend, all these people come up confirming what I said about Nipsey. Sometimes, once you say what you have to say, it's best to leave that shit alone. Let the spirits take care of the rest. I'm not gonna argue with someone that doesn't have a DNA test on me and doesn't have a DNA test on my father. And you don't know me and you don't know my father and you don't know about him. You can't prove that that's not my father. I don't go back and forth with people, but I don't give a fuck what nobody say though. I'm going to defend myself. If you attack me, you're not just gonna say no bullshit about me and keep saying that shit and I know it's a lie. I'm going to respond to it. And once I respond to it, I know when it's time, because it gets silly to keep responding to someone that doesn't have any evidence of anything they say about you. Once I respond and say what I have to say, I'm not going to keep going back and forth. I'm just really, it's amazing these people are grown and they act just like children, which tells me they have unresolved childhood issues they haven't dealt with. So it's amazing how people are coming to me, and I can't wait to talk to her. It's a pleasure to meet someone else new that knew him and that wants to talk to me, get to know me. So anyway, I wanted to explain some of what he's saying. Something he showed me about mudslides in California, mud storms. I have to look at the seasons. There's so much I don't know about these seasons, just like I couldn't believe that a bad storm came into a casino in Vegas a week or so ago and flooded the casino. They said it's monsoon season. I have to learn more about monsoon season. I wonder, does that happen every year in Vegas? Are the casinos flooded or particular ones flooded? Because people that I know from out there said no, that does not happen. It's a rare occurrence that doesn't just happen every year during this particular season. So these things, when he's trying to tell me things to warn you all and for us to watch, and you can let me know what it, why did I just see another airplane again? Airplane, a bus, a bridge, water storm, mud storm, fire, upheaval, chaos, conflict, murder. You see what's going on now too with these police. It happened again today, I think in Georgia. Was it Georgia? I think this happened a couple of days ago in Georgia, but was it North Carolina somewhere? A few hours ago, I saw 2 or 3 deputies or officers were serving a warrant and got shot while they went to the house to serve the warrant. They're just shooting police more and more, or law enforcement officers, just like he was telling me that I was seeing. He's going showing me the train. I wonder what is tied to buses, trains, airplanes, different roads and bridges that he is showing me, along with dams and natural water reserves, federal parks and state parks, as well as meat supplies, food supplies, water, electricity, and contaminated meat. I see the rats in one of these factories eating off of the meat, dead rats, and some of them are grinding up the rat. Lord Jesus. You remember I just said the other day, and this was telling me about these bikers and truckers and these schools and these nurses all tied into this child trafficking. Did you see that? I saw it today. This lady done shot this shit out her husband. She owns a daycare, and so he was driving the bus for the daycare, and several children said that he was feeling on them, and once he was giving them secret candy or cake or something. And when the wife found out about it, she confronted him and she shot him. He's in jail right now. Came to his hearing on a goddamn walker. So I don't know where she shot the nigga. Maybe around his dick and nuts and ass, because the nigga's on a walker, goddamn it. But I have the feeling, I'm wondering what's underneath there and where are the other children. And was there some underground trafficking ring or sex ring? Was there another partner, somebody affiliated with him and them, or any nurseries, any daycare centers in that area? Because this happens more than you know. And excuse me, it doesn't come up, or people don't believe it. People used to didn't believe this a long time ago. It was more hidden. And I saw this man's friend standing in front of the media saying that he didn't do that. He know he wouldn't do that. He doesn't. But how do you know? Are you with him all the time? Are you with him when he's a kid? Or you just know the face he shows you? Most child molesters and murderers and woman beaters and shooters, they come off totally different to their family and friends. You don't even know most of the time they do shit like that, especially if they have a job and they're dealing with corporate America or regular society. If it's just somebody on the street and hustling, yeah, I understand. You would know because it just is what it is with them. But people like him, they have 2 and 3 faces and that are narcissists. You don't always know what they're doing or who they're doing. Hmm? So this whole period, I don't know why I haven't seen you. Okay, now I see you. So I place overseas, changing over into crypto. Thank you, big old rip. I couldn't see y'all till now. Yes. The scary thing is it's going to happen in the U.S. And, when everything's based on a computer or a code or a chip, they can erase your account and you have no physical paper trail of anything because now everything is a digit, a number. And he also showed me about a serial code and a number. The same serial code is in a product. It's in a dollar. The dollar, and he showed me counterfeit money in the U.S. I see it in Georgia. I see it in California. I see it in Chicago. I see it in New York. Different places. He just mentioned Utah. They're printing this money and they're counterfeiting it, which causes another problem in society and is tied to prostitution and organized crime and drugs. I just want to drop it to you until I figure all the details of it out. But he's saying to me that these fires, he said, they're not just starting. These floods are not just in certain areas, and they're actually controlling and directing or redirecting weather for corporations. I know that might sound weird to a lot of you, but even though I don't understand it, when he tells me something, I'll say it. If I don't understand it, I'll say it anyway. And then later on, it'll come out and we'll understand what they're meaning. And these storms again, and the underground explosions and the drilling that they do is creating a chain reaction for volcanic eruptions and storms underneath the ground, or geysers opening up, earthquakes opening up. That's creating a chain reaction in all of the islands in the United States and outside of the United States. And he's going back to London again, Australia, where the Aborigines gods underground speak to me with the fire, Hawaii, California, Tanzania, the Philippine Islands, all those different islands that go into Africa as well, that are tying into Africa and tying into, they're mentioning Israel, Yemen, Saudi Arabia, Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, Sudan, Ethiopia. He's mentioning Venezuela for some reason. What's going on in Venezuela and Brazil, Mexico? A lot of catastrophe dealing with dollars, finance, petrol, fuel, natural gas, oil, water, problems with water and resources with water and different forms of currency. I wonder, is the peso still functioning? What's the value of the peso and the currency, and crime between Mexico and California, and then moving all the way down into Atlanta and the south. Oh, I'm getting dizzy. He told me about a drug. It's a liquid drug again, I'm seeing, and this drug is highly flammable. It could be more than one drug. It probably is. He said for some reason with this drug, it's highly flammable. It's a liquid drug, and it's almost like a date rape or knockout drug. He's showing me people staggering around. I saw this drug is also in Atlanta. You sniff this or inhale this. I don't know if you smoke this. I don't know if you can also inject, which would be really deadly, tear up the lungs, tear up the arteries and veins too. Straight liquid poison. These people don't know who they are. They can't complete the center, slobbering all at the mouth, trying to talk. The speech centers in the brain cannot talk, can barely see. You don't know who you are. You don't know where you are. And then they take advantage of the person, like kidnap, rape, rob. Oh my God. I don't know what this is I'm seeing. This type of drug I'm seeing, along with I'm seeing is close to heroin. It looks like a brown heroin. as well as other drugs they're taking. This is a new synthetic drug, and these people want to take it because of what I just said it does. And they're like in these dump, bump, 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 these clubs with the house music vibe. This is the type of place they go and do this, where it's packed to pack people, and these what do you call the raves? A lot of people are going to develop cancer and diseases because of that. It literally reminds me of a liquid gasoline. It reminds me of a formaldehyde. And they're taking this as a new drug. Like they have new forms of cocaine. I saw a documentary advice, pink cocaine or something. But this one is deeper than that. Where I see these people stumbling. When they wake up, they have to go to get medical treatment and an IV and clear the flush their arteries and veins in their system out and their lungs. They can see better, but they don't quite. Everything's a blur. You don't remember anything. You don't remember who you are, where you are. It might end up being crazy after this because of what it does to the nerve centers and what Nipsey's saying neurocortex, what it does to the brain and the memory and the thinking and the whole central nervous system and the function. It shuts it down and then it damages it. You can't retrieve much of anything of your memory. The day before that happened, the time that it happened, even weeks is a blur coming in and out because of whatever this shit is that's made in a lab. And I'm here in Mexico. I'm going to go right now. I'm going to take a break, babies. Thank y'all for loving, supporting to me, and donating. And if you want more food on the altar, they've already given me their menu. They want me to cook, and I know y'all like for me to cook. And as soon as everything gets straightened out and we get the AC fixed, I don't have a camera, so I got to figure out how to prop it up in there or go somewhere else with more space until I move. Because I like to have a bigger kitchen too to move around, and y'all can see me do everything. Like I see the cooking shows, and they have a nice island in the middle, and they set the camera up or somebody's taping, and you can chop it and see everything from beginning to end. I love that. But if you want me to cook again, I love it when you donate for this person, that person, donate for King Bond, donate for Nipsey. I want you to cook this meal. I love it. Because they're all asking me for the same thing right now. And I'm just like, y'all guys, y'all just won't let me rest. So I'm going to take a little break today from them. I'm going to eat, but I'm not trying to cook and set no plate. I might, but I don't know. I might take a break today just for me. But I love it. And I'm glad you all love it and you donate so I can do it, as well as save to get my air conditioner. I'm so glad you all are here. The ones that love me and support me and that donate for me to be able to do that and get well and strong and come out of this really fucked up situation. And I'm willing to show you as I move through it, even though it's painful, it's embarrassing. I let this shit go on too long. And to come out of it like being like somebody literally digs a grave and throws you in and say, bye, bitch, and leave you in it and say, now come up out of it, bitch. How the fuck you gonna come out? I just cut your throat and threw you in a fucking hole. That's literally how I feel. And if it wasn't for you all helping me move through this, I don't know if I would have been able to get, because the depression and the feelings of betrayal have been so deep and because of so many years of abuse. So you really gonna take it to a high level and really fuck me over this time and try to leave. So it's like you ruined me, so there's no way I could get out. But I believe in God, and I believe in the ancestors, and I believe in having a positive attitude and still working and not sitting around all the time feeling sorry for yourself and not taking no action to make things shift, and having incredible people like you that do love me and support me and share with me your love, your time, your energy, and donate to me. So I'm going to let you see me walk through everything, no matter how embarrassed it makes me feel. And you're making me encouraged and determined to stay strong and keep working through it, and believing that, if I wake up and I'm breathing another day, I still have another chance to get this right and to learn my lessons and become a better person, a stronger person, and a more educated person, and never ever go through this again. But at the same time, I want to be here as a teacher for you. I want to write all this stuff down. I want to leave this information for you, because it's been a fucked up hell of a ride for me. But what I have made up my mind is that I don't want to go through this anymore. I don't want to live this anymore. I don't need to experience this. I got the lessons, the things we were supposed to learn about self-love and self-respect and self-care and developing yourself to be very powerful and strong and develop all your potential and talents. That wasn't given to me. That wasn't given to a lot of us. And we're thrown out in the street with no tools and no life skills. And then your own mother and family members laugh and watch you fall, knowing that they set the obstacles and roadblocks up for you by refusing to give you wisdom and knowledge and basic life skills and self-love and self-respect skills. They'll deliberately do it to you. There are mothers that, because they never had a man that loved them, they don't want you to have one either. I remember one time my mother told me, after she had sabotaged my relationship with my son's father and told so many filthy lies that he believed, that he turned on me, and other people did. She would even go to my jobs and get me fired and tell lies on me. And then I found out later, and I didn't know why that happened to me. And she would laugh and admit she did it. And she was like, I didn't have my baby daddy. My baby daddy left, but my father didn't leave. She just said she was jealous of me because she felt like he would love me more than her. So she wouldn't let me see him, and she sabotaged that relationship. He didn't leave her. He lived in Atlanta. She said, I don't, and then my half sister, she has a different father. She sabotaged that. I saw those fights. Basically, she got with a nigga that didn't fucking want her. Now, you know, that's a whole nother fucking show. We got to get into those things with vagina power, Alexis K. Tyler, vagina power. I'm going to do private classes on that as well, on vagina power, because you all keep asking me for it, as well as how to set the altars up and dealing with the dead, the physically dead that are yet still alive. I'm thinking about scheduling those soon. I'm just trying to think about how I'm going to schedule them so we can have our private classes. But she said to me, I didn't have my baby's father and he left. And my mother, which is my grandmother, didn't have her baby father and he left. And now you don't either. So now we're all even, and this is the way it's supposed to be. If I didn't have mine, you're not going to have yours. And you'll need to have yours. Y'all better wake up, because y'all got a lot of mothers that feel this way. And you got a lot of fathers that sabotage their sons and feel that way about their sons. You know, I know a couple of people who their fathers are secretly in love with them. And the fathers have fucked them over and abused and molested them. And then when they get grown and they have a baby or they get with a man, they actually sabotage their daughter's relationship and speak down on it because they want to fuck their man. That's another show. I love you all. Donate and support me. Let me get something to eat. I'll come back soon. I love you.